Well, Toyota says they're going to send us a Camry hybrid to drive. And the base Camry with the non-hybrid engine runs around $26,000. This is on $28,355. Not that much more. This is the Nightshade edition, which has a bunch of cosmetic fluffs attached to jack the price up. Then the usual options. And the total tab. By the way, we also did a video on the Toyota Camry V6 TRD. That was a very nice car. You should watch the video. Uses a bit more gas, but yeah, duh. And we also tested the Toyota RAV4 hybrid. You decide to go to an SUV instead of a sedan. I'll link for that video at the end of this video. Just click and watch. So you're getting 3 Toyota hybrid tests for the price of 1, free. In the standard non-hybrid, where you get a 4-cylinder putting out 203 horsepower, or a V6 putting out 301 horsepower, using more gas, but in this particular vehicle, 208 horsepower, and here are the fuel economy ratings. Nice if you can get it. We'll be taking this out in the real world and finding out for ourselves. And here it is, not a bad looking rig, and looks pretty good with this dark blue paint, I think. And the rear view. Shipped it all the way from Texas, just for us. By the way, this is the Nightshade version of the Camry. So what do you get for the Nightshade? Get a blacked out front end, a black and blue Toyota emblem, blacked out mirror, 19-inch wheels painted gold, a rear spoiler placed on the trunk lid, and the suspension is lowered slightly. I think it's 0.6 inches if I recall. And for that they tack on a few bucks on the window sticker price. I suspect 95% of the people that buy the Nightshade don't really know it's a Nightshade. They just wanted to buy a Camry and bought a Camry. But it is a snazzy looking package, I guess. Be interesting to see how these gold wheels hold up over time. And one of the first things we do when we get a vehicle is take the headlights out in the dark and see how they perform, but due to the weather we might not be able to do that, so we will or we won't. And the second thing we do is check and see if there's a spare tire. On hybrids there rarely is. Yep, there's a compact tire under there and all the tools we need. People are always asking me, I want a nice mid-price 4-door sedan. What should I get if I want something that's going to last and not fall apart when the warranty goes out? And I tell them a Toyota Camry or a Honda Accord, which we already reviewed in a separate video. Can't go wrong with a Camry. So let's take a look at the cabin. The sun visors do not slide back and forth to block out the sun, but you do get this little tab. Why not just let the whole thing slide out? I don't know, but this is what you get. Should work good enough. There's no room in the glove box unless you take out the owner's book, which is pretty thick, put it back in the trunk, then you'll have some room. And below the transmission shifter, we get Eco, Normal, or Sport modes. Yep, Sport mode in the hybrid. You can also push the stick over to the left to shift manually. This is a CVT transmission, by the way. I know we all hate CVT transmissions, but the one Toyotas aren't too bad. They certainly last a lot longer than the junkers we get in Nissan. That's for sure. Usual steering wheel controls. Pretty easy to learn how they operate after an hour or two. Same over here on the right. Here's what the camera looks like when you put it in reverse. Nice clarity. And I'm getting 2 fuel economy readings on here, 38.6 and 34.3. A lot of this is from previous drivers. We'll reset everything and get our own. One complaint, these rocker panels are wider than they need to be, and on this shelf here you get a lot of buildup of dirt, sand, and mud, especially on a day like this when it's been raining all day and it gets all over your pants if you're not careful. Got it all over mine. That's where I'm wearing sweatpants today. If you're wearing a white suit with white pants, it might be out of look. And the second row seating, there's plenty of room for 2 full-size adults. Even though it's classified as 3 people, I guess you can fit 3 in there. One of the common gripes you hear about the Camry in the automotive press is the use of cheap plastics and materials. And yeah, there's nothing fancy in here, I get it. What do you want for something starting at 25 grand, but nothing overly bad either. It'd be a lot better if we didn't have a black interior and something like a brown to liven it up a bit. Right now it looks kind of like a taxi cab, but it's functional, that's what counts to me. By the way, the 12-volt outlet, very easy to find. Up close where it should be, in a secret compartment here for hiding all your gold and jewelry. The electric power steering doesn't have much feel, but it's quick and responsive, which most people will appreciate. So I don't think there's going to be any complaints. As we do in all our videos, taking some mild speed humps around 15 miles per hour to see how the suspension performs and impact. Let's do it. Button number 1. Reasonably smooth. Number 2. Some mild thumping, nothing serious. And the big nasty one. I felt it slightly, but not enough to worry about. Tire pressures are supposed to be 35 pounds. After driving it today, they've gone up to around 37. That's normal. Even though this hybrid has the same basic horsepower as the 4-cylinder non-hybrid, this one's actually a little more peppy around town as far as acceleration because of the torque of the electric batteries and motors. Let's do a 0 to 60 run in the sport mode. Not breathtaking acceleration, but certainly more than adequate. Gets you there. Excellent brakes. Let's take the turning circle and see what happens. Ooh, a bit of body lean here. But not spinning out. Well, hug the road, I can't complain. So far mixed commuting, I'm getting 35.5 mpg. Let's take a highway trip. See if we can bump these numbers up. Lots of rain and snow coming up for the rest of this test, rest of the week, so in the meantime we're going to take a highway trip, about 100 miles or so. See what type of fuel economy we can get off this rig. So don't go away. By the way, this is a very nice highway cruiser. It's smooth and quiet, and the wind noise is surprisingly low. Comfortable for long trips. As far as fuel economy goes, one thing you have to understand about hybrids, they work great in the city where the electric motors give the gas engines a push and make them work less harder and get better fuel economy. But on the highway, the hybrid systems really aren't active. And as a rule, the hybrid cars won't get much better fuel economy than the non-hybrid counterparts. So if we're getting like 36, 37 mpg in the city on this, I doubt we're going to get more than that. Probably more like around 35 mpg, but that's my guesstimate. We'll find out when we pull over in about an hour. Went on the highway for an hour and a half. One thing I've noticed, these seats are very soft, which is fine if you're driving in the city for short periods of time, but you're on the highway for long periods of time, soft seats don't go over too well. I prefer something a little bit firmer, which would be a bit more comfortable. I don't find these comfortable for long trips, but that's me. Maybe your rear end will adjust better. Just something I thought I'd mention. Alright, about 2 hours of this. It's time to pull over. We're at the end of the road. Be interesting to see what the fuel economy is going to be. I don't think it's going to be over 35 though. I'm willing to bet that. Well, there you go. 72 miles per hour, 32.4 mpg. Oh, it was an hour 35 minutes, not 2 hours. How time flies. And for the time we got the vehicle filled up the tank, 33.3 mpg. We get a chance, we'll take another trip tomorrow night. don't go away. And it says on the little computer screen the previous best fuel economy was 42.2 mpg. I don't know when that was. Certainly wasn't with me. Must have been Grandma taking it to church on Sunday, driving downhill. I didn't like those fuel economy numbers I got the other night, so let's take another highway trip. See what happens. We're coming into the line, and the weather's a lot nicer tonight than it was the other night with that rainstorm and wind, so maybe we'll get some better fuel economy numbers on this trip. Just maybe. The suspense is killing me. We got 38.1 on this trip. That's more like it. The car redeemed itself. So what's my take on this Camry after a week of driving? Well, as far as fuel economy goes, I did average around 30 mpg if I keep my foot off the throttle. And the driver before me, according to the computer, got 42 mpg, so I guess he had a lighter foot. That's less than the mpg claimed on the window sticker, but as always, driving conditions can vary. I might mention the 4-cylinder non-hybrid is rated 28 in the city, 39 on the highway with an average of 32. And it's less expensive to buy, starting tab around 26 grand. I think if I was looking for fuel economy, that might be my choice, but as always, you have your choice. Either way, it's hard to beat a Camry. They're nice to drive, well built, reliable, last a long time, long after the warranty expires, so it's still a safe bet. We already did a separate video on a night driving headlight test, but if you didn't see that, you can see it now, part 3. It's dark enough, let's see what these lights do. Here's what, oops. Better go turn them back on, huh? Ah, not much to see here. Dinky. Even the emergency lights are brighter. And here's the emergency lights up front. With the headlights off. And taillights off. Yeah, in the daytime, these light assemblies are pretty big, but when you're driving, this is all that's lit up. This is obviously for the brake. Interesting. Put it in reverse, and here's what we see. Gauge cluster lights up okay, and let's see what we got here. 36.4 mpg. There's not much high tech in here. Simple controls, very few lights. Here's the climate controls. The shifter, and the Eco, Normal, or Sport button. And some others. Controls on the steering wheel light up pretty good. There we have the low beams on a wall 33 yards away, 100 feet. Is that around 35 meters? Not very high, they should go over the bushes, but they're very bright before they get there. Got a good wide spread. Now flick on the high beams, not much spread, but good strong light in the middle where it's needed the most. So let's take a look down the dark, dingy street. Lights off, low beams on, high beams. Low beam. Reaches out fine. If you watch my videos, I cannot stand auto-dimming mirrors. They black out the lights in heavy city traffic, which is dangerous and stupid, but if you have a disconnect switch, that's okay because you can turn it off, and Toyota has provided us with a turn-off switch, so nothing to complain about then. You can turn it on and off as you see fit. And let's see if we can light up some signs on the freeway. Got the low beams on, high beams, low beams, and a bunch of people in my way. Lights up a good distance, high beam, low beam. Well, it's a good thing we did the headlight test earlier because it's raining cats and dogs right now, but we can test the headlights in the rain. Let's see. Low beam. High beam. Good reflection. There you go. It's getting kind of dark out here. Yeah, but the brights lighten everything up. Now we got a long drive ahead of us, so now the headlight test is officially over. Just had to toss in the rain test. Didn't want to deprive you of that. And last but not least, the dingy dark neighborhood test. You don't want to run over any kids, dogs, or drunks. Plenty of all three out here in this neighborhood.